The Florida Podcast Network, the voice of Florida.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Beach Talk Radio. This is episode number 46. My name is Ed Ryan, and this is an audio-only version of our show today. David Wolff from Ocean Habitat is who we have on for our guest for about a 15-minute show. When we found out that Fort Myers Beach is putting 48 units of the mini reef on the beach, we got right on the phone with David to talk to him about the mini reef, about Ocean Habitat, and about why he's doing this. He's been dedicated to this for so long, since the 90s, and he tells us, as you'll find out toward the end of the interview, that he just wants to leave the planet a better place. He sees what's going on with the water, and he's been working on this along with a bunch of other folks for many, many years. So let's pick up the interview right here that we did with David Wolff from Ocean Habitat. David, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So, David, for the folks that do not know what Ocean Habitat is, can you give us kind of the overview of what the company's about?
We're a nonprofit organization. Our mission is to help bring coastal waters to life. For me, having grown up in the area, I've kind of watched the decline. I'm trying to do something to change that. And we go about that by producing our unit called the mini reef, which basically replicates the natural environment that would normally be found in the mangrove trees that were removed when development took place along the coast of Florida. So it's placed underneath a boat dock using the wasted space to produce fish and crabs every year, and give a place for filter feeders to live, like oysters, that help filter some of the water, some of the excess algae, things like red tide, out of the water that we're dealing with too much of right now.
Now, you invented this device, didn't you?
I worked on Sanibel Island with a gentleman named Michael Kalinsky. We worked on it for quite a few years out there to kind of figure out all the ways basically it doesn't work. We finally got to how it does work. So unfortunately, that work kind of ended back in the 90s. This whole idea sat for about 16 years. I kind of came back to it, decided I wanted to give it another try and get it figured out, and we finally pulled it off.
So explain exactly how this device works.
Well, what it does is in mimicking mangrove tree prop root environment, it gives the proper material that filter feeders can attach to and live their whole life on. And it also gives the proper spacing so that water can flow through the unit and feed everything. Fish and crabs can move freely through the unit. So it just helps replicate that lost environment. And, allow all these little organisms that come into a canal system, which, works great for boats, but doesn't work great for life. It allows them to have a place to grow up, to get bigger and stronger, and then hopefully be able to leave and, reach a size where they can reproduce themselves, and hopefully it will help their babies out too.
So when you drop this device in the water underneath the dock on Fort Myers Beach or wherever you have them, what's inside the device when you first put it in the water?
There's nothing. It's just the virgin polypropylene it's made out of, and it basically empty space. So almost right away, life starts attaching to it. There's all kinds of in the water. The time of year kind of dictates which animals are there, but they start getting out of it immediately. Fish, of course, will use it immediately because of structure. But then once the filter feeders are there, you get kind of a food chain set up so that there's a reason for those fish and crabs to stay there, and grow up because they have food and shelter then.
So you said the goal is to bring coastal waters to life. What's been going on that creates the need to bring coastal waters back to life?
Well, we've had a lot of development. Anybody who's spent any amount of time in Southwest Florida has seen every city here, every town grow rapidly. In the early 90s when I was in high school, most streets you're going down were 2 lanes, and there were big grass medians, and there just wasn't a lot of people except for during season. And now it's kind of wall-to-wall development, and that creates a lot of runoff. It creates a lot of landscaping that we're taking care of. Obviously there's a lot of agricultural use here in Florida. All that runoff and nutrients, those build up as well in our coastal waters and create algae blooms, create explosion of creatures that cause like red tide, and just due to there being about 4 times as many of us here as there were just 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously nobody's leaving because it's paradise here. So,
right.
We got to do something to try to counteract what's happened, because telling everybody to leave is an option.
So the most recent story that we saw was that you're going to be putting 48 units on the beach in Fort Myers. Talk about how that happened, how long you've been working with the beach, and where we're going to see them.
Well, they're going in. They're all going in the canal. Well, the town actually purchased 50 units from us, so 48 are going into the canal right behind the Dolphin Inn, in between, I believe, it's Egret and Ibis Street, and then 2 more are going to be going to the Snickbite Marina, because they wanted a place where the public could go and take a look at them in the water easily and not be on private property. So this came about by, I actually contacted the town manager, Roger Herdstant. He's familiar with our work because he used to be down in Marco Island where we started. So he knows how effective these can be, and that it's a very, very positive thing for the town to have going on in it. So he went to the town council and presented them with what it is we do, and they wanted to hear more from us, and they eventually approved the pilot project to kind of show the residents what happens when there's a lot of them in a canal. Not just 1 or 2 like there is in a lot of canals in the city right now. So that hopefully residents in the area can see the positive benefits and kind of take the program and keep putting them in and replicate something like Marco, where the city there put in 25 units, and now they are approaching 800 units in the water because everyone gets to see firsthand, and when they go to the neighbor's house, what these things do. They see the fish, they see the life, and they're like, I want these too.
So when are the 48 going in?
They're in today. Half of them are already in the water. This afternoon we'll be finishing up installations at the canal, and we're going to try to get to the marina today, but that might be tomorrow morning, because we have to also be here in the morning because the Mountain House Museum, they're putting a few units in as I believe someone donated them in memorial for a loved one. So we're going to come back in the morning and get those units in, and when we leave, the town will have over, I think it's about 115 units now, between what the town did and what private residents have done.
Cool. So 48, was that number chosen because that was kind of the amount of space you had to put them in?
It was more. It was an amount of money that the town felt that they could put into this idea, and because of the volume they were buying, they got a discount. So it bought some extra units, and if there were more in the canal, it'd be kind of nice to really show what they can do. But the canal we picked was of a size that the number of units that the town could afford, you'd be able to see the difference that it makes. There's some canals would be too big for that many units, but where we're putting them, they should be able to make a nice impact.
Well, David, how many do you think Fort Myers Beach needs when you look at what's gone on with the water out there and how big the island is?
Well, honestly, the average dock anywhere in Florida, but here too at the beach, can fit about 5 on average. Obviously, some less, some a lot more. So the more there are, the more impact is going on. It'd be great if every dock, had a bunch of them. We're a nonprofit, so it's not about us trying to make money. It's just we filter every time you put one in, you're filtering more water, you're growing more fish. You're doing more work that needs to be done around here.
Do you think Fort Myers Beach will buy some from you every year once they see what's going on here?
Well, hopefully. I mean, it would be great if they wanted to keep adding to kind of maximize the show there. But some other cities are doing this because it's not just Marco Island. There's quite a few others. Residents quickly take over the program.
Right.
They get to see the benefits firsthand when they look in the water, and they decide, I have a dock. I need to do this because I've owned this house for 10 years or 20 years or whatever it is, and I've watched it go downhill. And this is a chance for me to do something right now, not just vote for somebody, but I can make a difference. So if the town did some more, that'd be wonderful. If not, I'm sure residents are going to continue to kind of take over and make this happen.
Do you have these going out to different cities across the state and across the country as of yet?
Yes, yeah, we're in over 80 cities here in Florida. That's about to come about 90 after our next couple trips because people are ordering from some new places. We're in 12 states total, also in the Bahamas, and recently got someone who wants to order them in Puerto Rico. So different. We're just going to look into that with them to ship them off and have them install it there and start doing some benefit down there because just like everybody else, they keep telling us that there's not as many fish as there used to be, and the water isn't as clear as it used to be, and they need to do something about it because they're watching it go downhill and they don't like it. So
how long does it take you to create one of these, to put it together? If you get an order for 48 and you're a nonprofit, how long does it take you to hammer them out?
Well, like last weekend, we built 100 in total for this trip. So it doesn't really take that long. We get a pallet of material from Orlando, and about 3 days later, everything is cut and drilled and being assembled, for a trip. So, yeah, it isn't time intensive. It's just a matter of more of the driving around installing for people that takes up the time.
Now, if a resident on the beach wanted to purchase one, what would it cost them to get one?
Right. Well, they're for one unit is $250, including the installation. We do actually have on Facebook. There's a sale where people are getting 10% off their whole order, whether they order 1 or 15 or whatever they do. And you get that if you like our site. The ad will pop up, so everybody can get a discount right now if they want to, while that lasts. And it'd probably be, since we're here right now, it would probably be early April before we'd be back to install new orders because we're going to have everything installed that we currently have on our docket.
Are there any situations or any places where you have a camera underneath the water so people can see what's going on? Is that something you thought about doing?
We have thought about doing it. It's a little bit of it's either expensive to have a camera that can self-clean or a little bit of labor intensive as far as keeping organisms off of the camera lens. So, but we're kind of working on a situation right now because we actually have some condominiums in Marco Island that are interested in putting a unit in and maintaining it because they'd like to have like a live feed, to show.
Oh, that'd be great.
Show people up north, show their kids, show whatever, what goes on. So,
yeah,
it's something that we are going to get put together with somebody here. It's been kind of it's been suggested multiple times. It's just always ended up on the back burner because something else is.
Sure. Got other things to do. I hear you. So if people want to support the organization or get in touch with you, what do you recommend they do?
Fastest way is to go right to our website, oceanhabitatinc.com. You can donate to us for units to be installed. All our contact information is on there. If you need to call in, you'll probably get me on the phone. If you need any questions answered. We are a 501c3, so if someone's wanting to simply support the work we do and they need a tax write-off, we actually can accept just donations. They don't have to take a unit like if they don't have a dock or live waterfront or in a condo, that kind of thing, that they want to support us. They can do it that way as well.
And you said you've been working on this since the 90s. Why is this such a passion of yours?
Well, my family moved from Chicago down here to Lee County when I was 12. And I actually lived at Fort Myers Beach in '88 for about 6 months on the south end of the island. And we were kind of looking into moving down here. And, I just fell in love with all the beauty around here. The ocean's amazing, the beaches, going to airboat rides and everything that you can do in Florida. It's why everybody comes here when you retire. It's paradise. And, I ended up going to college to be a marine biologist. I wanted to be, Jacques Cousteau's like left-hand guy because he already had right-hand ones. So, it kind of was inside of me. I left the industry, because I got married and needed to make money, and I went into real estate and was very successful at that. And when I had an opportunity to sell the companies I'd built and do whatever I want again, my first thought was, I didn't care if I worked 100 hours a week. When I was doing marine biology, I loved every second of it. And I never had a job in my life like that where I felt that way. And so I knew, this is what I need to go back and do. It's what I wanted to do originally. I got away from it for money, and it was time to come back and try to solve some of the problems we're facing. We've got 4 kids. I don't want to leave a planet behind me that's worse off than I came in it. And, I'm hoping we can make a decent impact with what we're doing, and hopefully in combination with a lot of other people's efforts, we can turn things around here some.
Well, David, thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate that, and we appreciate what you're doing for the beach. And good luck with the company, and we'll keep promoting it for you as well. Thanks a lot.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me. I appreciate it.